Hello, welcome to my Sunday Frump. Thank you for joining me today. Today is a very special day. I have a ground turkey, a charcuterie board, I have Swedish meatballs, a burger, and quesadilla. And to drink, I have this lemonade. All right, so let's get started. Today's mukbang. I really wanted to talk about something that I've been seeing online a lot. And I talk about toxic influencers a lot. But I think a lot of times it's like probably the message I think that they send that really gives me like ick vibes. Like, I can say that I watch a lot of content, and I'm very careful about what advice I take. Most of the time it's just entertainment for me, but you know, for some people I don't think it's that way. I think that they're strongly influenced by influencers, because that's like the job, right? And I think that that a lot of times that when we take advice, it's usually not like we're, you know, separating the real facts and truth from fictional storylines that somebody has made in their life, you know, like whether it's something that they did chasing clout, whether it's something that maybe they're following themselves in their life, you know, maybe online or in real life or through somebody else. Maybe it's maybe a lot of times when they're saying things, they're exposing and kind of manipulating the audience to believe that it's completely 100% a real fact, you know, like a historic event that could have taken place, but it's actually just some make-believe fairy tale, you know, thing that they just want to talk about because it's content, you know. For them it's just material. For them it's just a way to get views, likes, and follows. For them, you know, it's gonna make them famous because it's just a storyline, you know. You just follow along, and whether you're vulnerable at the moment, some people don't care if you're susceptible to influence. Some people do care, but they're just recklessly trying to interact and get engagement and gain a following, you know. And a lot of times we don't understand that. This is really good. So with that said, I wanted to talk about that in choosing partners. Because I noticed, like, some people think that is a trend, I guess. The way you live isn't a trend. It's a real event. Just like everybody's story is a part of their own personal history. It's a road that they followed and a path that led them to get there, and within that path is a storyline of itself. And every person, every story, every history is important, and we don't understand the impact that, you know, small choices, well, to some people obviously, can impact our real life and cause, you know, things to happen. Our choices in life, you know, a lot of times it's where you're at, who you're with, how you know, how are you gonna move next? These are all choices. These are options that are weighed. These are our, you know, personal beliefs manifested into a physical reality. And, you know, there's passive aggressive toxic influences out there. And whether we follow these people or not, whether it's a trend to follow them or not, we got to be aware. You know, we got to make choices based on, you know, actual life decisions, you know, based on that there's consequences, that events will follow, you know, and we have to follow through with our actions, you know. And a lot of times we have to be aware that we're making these choices, you know, be aware that there are several options. And here I wrote, stop glamorizing the culture. Be yourself. Feel love. Losing is bad. And these are things that are actually muted on screen. They're actually muted in the magazines and the headlines. They're actually silenced in pop culture because it's not cool. It's not going to get talked about unless it's going to make somebody money. Do you realize that? I never want to be in a story, a part of a story, or a character, you know, that's making somebody in the end, in the long run, money. You know what I mean? For me, it was hard work to get here. For me, this is, you know, this is just the beginning. And I want everything to be clear and transparent, you know. You know, I'm not saying that you know, supposed to be like an idol to somebody or a role model to somebody, but you know, of course I'm gonna set an example. I want to set an example by making healthy choices. Let's try this burger. This is good. This is real good. Okay. I wrote fake TV couples, power couples. And I talk about fake, you know, TV families. People who play the roles because, like I said, they want views. They want a following. They want a family genre so they can play into every aspect of human life. Because this way they are marketable. Because this way they feel like they could be relatable. Because this way they feel like they will garner the most broader audience and therefore get views. Power couples, they feel like they can connect with an audience, a general audience, a broad spectrum of people, because, you know, they have power in pop culture. And with that power, their togetherness will bring clout, will bring like a typical behavior of a family unit, just generalized, because once you get that in your head that it's okay, to be influenced by them, it's okay, to feel like, they could relate to your real life. Even though, obviously, somebody celebrated and that famous could never. One thing that I really, really feel like we just consume this content. We don't even properly, we don't even properly vet these people that are giving advice online, these unlicensed marriage therapists, they're not licensed, they're not professionals. They didn't go to school for that. Why would they care about your real life? It's just content. These quesadillas are really good, but they could possibly 9 times out of 10, you will see that they will use real life personal experiences of others to garner a bunch of following, a bunch of likes and shares, because they themselves might not even have that. And lifestyle gurus, people who show off their real life, because they have money, or they live a certain way, or they live different from someone else, like they live a different alternative lifestyle than the mainstream. So therefore people follow, they're curious, they follow them. And over here, they explain while and why their pair bonding is failed. So like they'll be explaining their own personal experience while it's failing, and they'll be explaining why while it's failing. They could never offer solid, concrete advice as to taking, this wonderful advice and winning in life, because they don't understand the concept that, a relationship is valuable. A relationship is a real thing. A relationship takes 2 people to work, and they fail at it. But yet they're sitting here trying to force feed, and influence this toxic ideology of how things work in the home, Meanwhile, in their own home, they're not even cutting butter. Normalizing blame, shame for fame. And like I said, they will take your personal experiences and garner views. They will use you for content. If they find that one of their followers need help, or seeking assistance, or seeking marriage counseling, they will use you as an example, And it's really sad, because sometimes if they do use their own life, they will name their partner, and they will chase clout until, it's in the courtroom. They will blame their spouse while they're still married to them, sleeping in the same bed. They live in the same quarters, and yet, these people are being exposed. And it's really sad because, you know, can you imagine the contradiction to giving advice how to live healthy when you don't even understand the concept of healthy, you know, mindset, you know? You don't understand the concept of not being toxic. And, you know, and we don't need to normalize that. We don't, you know? Vetting, I wrote down, vetting is necessary, is real, and it's work. When you're vetting your partner, you have to do it. You have to, you know, stick to your guns, stick to your instincts. If your gut's telling you something, listen. You have to do it. It's work, you know, but it's worth it. It's a real thing. It's a real process. It's, you know, it's gonna get you somewhere, because if you don't vet, you're never gonna trust, you're never gonna bond, and you're never, you know, gonna actually find the real person fit for, you know, to be your better half, to be your significant other, to be your spouse. You know what I mean? Because you didn't go through the actual, you know, process. You didn't feel, you know, the solid ground, the foundation of trusting, you know, of intimacy, you know? Because for both parties, when you vet, it's saying you're significant from the rest. You are the other half of a couple, of the couple that I am in, of the pair, you know? It's saying, you know, you can look to me because I already done the work as well. You can bond with me because I know for a fact in my heart that I have fully committed to you, you know, because you're just one person of all the rest, you know, that has got this far with me, that has got to the point where I like bonding with you, where I really trust you, where I find you, you know, worthy of my affection. Taking credit for inventing degeneracy, new degeneracy for the culture, you know? And, you know, the culture is not new. The culture is not impressive. So if you're inventing new trends of degeneracy, really, are you worthy of having a following, of having views, likes, and shares? Are you worthy of influencing others, you know? Or are you just toxic? That's why it's important to take reasonable, sound advice from real, you know, people who are encouraging healthy behaviors, encouraging healthy habits, you know, encouraging healthy lifestyles, you know, because choosing a partner isn't easy. It's not easier than this. You know, it could have never been easier in the history of the world, because it takes real work. It takes time. It takes commitment on both sides. So I hope that helps you understand, you know, both choosing a partner and, you know, taking advice, because, you know, you have to vet. You really do. Thank you for joining me today. I really enjoyed this mukbang. And I'll see you guys again soon on my Sunday phone. Bye-bye.